Hello, good people. I'm Emmanuel Safali, bringing you the Promise Insurance Show. And today I want to talk about a brief video that I made earlier. We've been calling it the Britam Benevolent Fund, Protection Fund Scheme. But now we have changed it to the Community Shield. And there are some few changes that have come as a result of the regulator reviewing our product and making a few amendments, but for the benefit of our clients, the bigger population that is actually underserved, that are not catered for. So as I present this, for a long time I've been presenting, but maybe people don't know who I am. Maybe let me just share this for a brief video, and then I'll share another one by the commercial officer of NSSF, Geoffrey Sajabi, who speaks and gives a preamble to this subject of medical, funeral insurance, but most importantly, the Community Shield that offers a group life protection. It's much more than just funeral. There is life after death, and that's where the group life element comes in. There is the critical illness that may happen. There is a permanent total disability that may happen. There is a hospitalization that may come out of our members of the communities. You can just be there and then hear that he got an accident, he's hospitalized, there is some hospital cash. So it could be the funeral expenses. So the question is not if these things are going to happen, but it's a matter of when. And when they do happen, who is going to stand in for you? Oftentimes, we have seen our community who have community collections, they fall short and they arrive too late. How many times have we seen that? There are usually three things that happen whenever incidents happen, and the ones I've mentioned above. The first trigger, a community member dies or gets disabled. There is a trigger moment and a panic. The second one is the panic element. Unstructured fundraising begins. And then third, the failure. Usually contributions are delayed or they're deemed insufficient. So this is what I'm going to present, but before I do that, I just wanted to show you that I've never done something about groups for traders, and this is also going to speak into it. But also listen to this. Safali, an insurance promoter with the Promise SF Insurance Promoters, and with a program called the Promise Insurance Show. What I've learned with this Pakasa Forum, that we have seen panelists like Agase Kalala, we have seen OHT in Turkey, who have spoken about the sustainability of these businesses. One of the key areas they talked about was risk management. How do we transfer these risks? How do they expand? They can't expand without insurance. We have seen recent floods, and they talked about how it's very important to have this kind of risk management. Right now, there are insurers who can offer digital solutions for free. Come for this advice, look for the Promise Insurance Show on YouTube, so that you can get this kind of information. New Vision presented me very well there, but still, let's listen to this gentleman. He has some very important elements. I'll try to translate in Luganda, where I may mistake. You may get lost. But listen to his message. It's very key. He has some very serious message that he gave as a subsequent discussion he had earlier in the video he presented earlier when he was in Hoima. Let's listen in. He's called Sajabi Geoffrey. Thank you.
Of course, one of the biggest things that you deal with when you are aging is the cost of medical care. Medical care is quite high, especially when you approach it as an individual. You go to an insurance firm and say, I'm 65 years of age, I need medical insurance. First of all, in the insurance world, your risk is higher. So even the premiums will be higher. While for a 10-year-old, maybe the risk is much lower. So how do you leverage the groups that you belong to bring down the cost of some of the things like medical insurance? Because when you gas a group to insurance and guarantee them a certain number, then that impacts the premiums that they will charge. So let's leverage our groups that we belong to. I have often advised that even for things like burial, people that are dying, it is important to also begin to plan for our own death. Yesterday, because I was on my way here, I missed attending a burial of an old boy of mine in Mayuge. He's been working in Jinja. He passed on But for some reason, we're not collecting Mabugo on our group anymore. Why? Because we took up a funeral cover where we each pay 120K once a year. And if a principal member dies, insurance gives that family 10 million shillings. If a spouse dies, they give 5 million shillings. Now, what is 120K a year? For context, how long will it take for a person contributing 120K a year to contribute 10 million? So many years. That OB had contributed for less than a year is gone. The family has been supported without calling people to contribute what? Mabugo. So if you belong to a group and every day people are dying and you are burying people that you don't even know, why don't you propose to your group to approach an insurance company? There are even premiums that are lower than 120. Even for 50,000 once a year, you can get a package where the principal member, if they die, they are given 5 million. A spouse 2.5. Some of the groups that I belong to, when we used to collect Mabugo, we would rarely raise that amount of money. Because most people are sending 5K, 10K. When will you even raise 1 million? So let's leverage the groups that we belong to be able to plan better, even for death.
Now, we listened in earlier, the member, Mr. Sajabi, ajogedde bulungi n'agamba wojjanga kinomu insurance premium ziba nnyingiko, but wojjanga group nga community nga family, at least nga musuka ku bantu abiri tusobola okufuna this kind of premium. So there is an insurance company out there, Jayogeddeko, esasula 120, you're charging about 130,000 shillings. Ntwala 13. Nenga tukuwa benefit ya member principal 10 million shillings oziraba. Then spouse 5 million shillings. Then 1 million shillings to the parents and the children. There's option 2 of having a slightly higher premium. It's reducing on the value of the principal member, but increasing the value of the other members, the children and the parents. This is also another very good package, but only covers funeral insurance. Mabugo only, yet there's life after Mabugo. There's also an option of 65,000 shillings. And you're covering $1,500,000 and then 2.5 for the spouse, and then the children 500,000 each. So if you look at the individual, then that if you come as an individual, insurance becomes a little bit more expensive, whether medical insurance, whether all that. Yeah, you can see that this package of the executive cover is it gives a benefit of 5 million shillings, but the premium per year per person in this group would be, per individual is 100,000. So this one does not have any group dynamics, but it's also very good package. 3 million shillings for Mabugo again for an individual. They will charge 65,000 and have a benefit of 3 million shillings. There's a Muslim package, which is usually the easiest and most has less materials. The premium is 45,000 shillings and covering 2 million shillings. So this is the individual package. But allow me to introduce the package that Britam is offering, and we see how it works and who is Britam. But let's look at what is this package all about. Remember, this is the community shield. We're introducing the community shield. It's inclusive protection for families powered by the community. So we're introducing this community shield plan, and who is it for? It's for schools, it's for SACCOs, it's for all boys and girls associations. It could be transport associations, diaspora. It could be SME, informal clubs, investment clubs, churches and religious groups, even the mosques. Ngaitogedde amasomero, ebibiina by'abantu abali mu transporting, abantu abali nkuba kyeyo, SMEs, informal groups, investment club tuzimanyi, byonna bino. So this is ideally what the cover is all about. What's the market reality? The gap. So Ugandan communities, for far too long, of course, we have the SACCOs, diaspora networks, and all these kind of people. They already pool risk informally and support each other during crises. But we are living in a in an age where the crises are becoming too many. And you can hear from the testimony of Mr. Sajabi that he was relieved that for the first time in a long time, one of his OBs passed on, but he was surprised there were no collections because there was an insurance policy that took care of the members' contributions of about 10 million shillings. Yeah? So that is a key testimony to show that insurance works. But this one is actually offering. So we are saying, what's the structural gap and how are we doing it? So conventional life insurance solutions rely on rigid structures, nuclear family constraints, and individual underwriting that fail to reflect how African extended families actually live and support one another. So the Britam mandate is therefore to formalize protection communities, already trying to provide informally. Yes? So we deliver a scalable group life protection solution that preserves dignity, supports continuity, and drives retail penetration through structured community networks. From informal chaos to structured protection. So the conventional insurance, as I told you, has rigid underwriting structures. If you compare that to the community shield, you will see that this one is flexible, modular expansion of the family cover. It's strictly limited to nucleus family units, the conventional one. When you look at this side, the conventional one, the community shield one, it's inclusive of extended and polygamous family structures. The conventional one is individually priced and assessed risks. Yeah, we assess the risks individually under the conventional one. Then the group or the community shield one, we are saying that group verified underwriting and risk pooling. So you, the group members, the association members, the investment club members, are going to help us underwrite as Britam, because you're the ones who are going to attest that this person belongs to this person's family. This one still has his parents, we are allowing to add them on. Or this one, their parents already died, so the person is bringing on is actually not his father, is not his mother. He's someone else, an extended person. So the group will actually decide on which person gets on the cover. Then the conventional barriers to entry of informal workers. So that was the conventional insurance. This one is actually affordable and entry points to design for scale. So here we're trying to tap into the community and grow the insurance uptake, so that people no longer say that insurance is for the rich people, but it actually should be for everyone. And how are we doing it? It is through this kind of product. Of course, you have some market safeguard ecosystem, the market, and then how we safeguard with structured leadership of verifiable membership in the ecosystem of Britam Group Life Protection. Of course, we have done this for some time, and this actually happens so much in Kenya, and we want to also copy a leaf to Uganda's communities. So registration is helpful, and I'll show you there's a QR code at the end of this presentation that you will actually scan for the members who are interested. You give us as much information as possible. Only then should the association chairperson contact us and say, okay, now we are ready with the premiums, but we shall also have to get a welfare committee from that group to help us communicate to us within whatever happens to that group. And then for us, we shall help you with this disciplined pooling, streamlined premium collection, and mitigated individual fraud risk. How it works. Remember my opening remarks, I mentioned that we have had for far too long those trigger moments, the panic, and then the failures. So we are saying we want to change that. Instead of giving you just the funeral cover that the market has been actually, and what Mr. Sajabi is accustomed to, we're offering a solution that is a group life proposal to the main member. We're also covering critical illnesses. We're covering the permanent and total disability and hospital cash. Possibly someone may ask me, I know from the past presentation, someone was asking me, what are those critical illnesses and what are the definitions? So this is it. We look at things like heart attack. We have seen many of our members getting heart attacks. I won't go into so much detail. strokes, cancers, we have kidney failures, yeah, we have major organ transplants, we have paralysis, yeah, we have comas. There's quite a bit of things. So these are some of the other claim requirements. What do we need for the life insurance? We need the burial permit, death of the certificate, we have mentioned that, police abstract, those kind of things, simple things that usually happen every other day. For critical illnesses, we need the original and copy of the completed claim form, national ID of the insured. So because the information we are still gathering it, we may not capture, we just capture the numbers. We may not ask you to give us the proof of payments or the proofs of those national IDs. So with all that, let's conclude with this discussion. Let's go back to the presentation. Of course, we have seen what is required there. Let's look at what we are covering. We're saying the free spouse is also covered, but we'll be taking half of the principal's life cover, though it excludes hospitalization benefit. Then one free child, but we're covering only the funeral expenses. So coverage allocation matrix. Group life, we are seeing 100% for the principal member is getting 50%. Then critical illness, they get 50% of the principal of the benefit they chose. PTD, permanent total disability, 20% of the sum insured, and then hospital cash benefit of 100,000 per night for up to 10 days, and then the funeral expense support. So this one looks more or less the same, but they are different. This one covers just the funeral elements, but then there's life after death that where the life insurance, group life insurance will come in. Then the spouse is 50% of the sum insured, 50% of the spouse's sum assured is of the critical illness, and then 20% of the spouse's sum assured. So, and then 7 million. Then the child gets also a funeral expense of about 7 million shillings. Then let's look at the tiers and how we price. So we are saying duo, affordability ladder, scaling, protection, and value. How are we doing this? Let's look at the very first option. For instance, if a member of this group, we talked about a minimum group being 20 members. So if members decide that we want only cover our members, we don't want to look at their families, or these are young groups of people, they don't have families yet, we can say we're going to charge 71,000 shillings per year. And what's the benefit? Is 6 million shillings. And if you look at all the benefits that we are talking about, like critical illness and all that, they will total to about 18.2 million. And principal member plus family will be 93,400 shillings per year. But so you can see the value is still the same for the main member, but the total benefits for the other family members would have increased to 25.3 million. If we go to mid-market, tier 3, where the sum insured is 15 million, we shall charge each principal member 122,000 shillings per year. This includes also maybe the parents who may want to get this kind of benefit if they want to come as a standalone of the members. But if we are talking at the nucleus family, the premium for this package would be 213,000 shillings for this group, for this family person who has chosen the 15 million option. We also have the premium level. This is a big size. Members feel that they need more dignified life insurance, group life insurance. They can choose a package of 100 million. If they came alone, we would charge 598,000 shillings per year. And then in total benefits, it will be about 178 million. But if you look at the family, the premium would increase from 598 to 925,000 shillings per year. And the total sum benefits of the family members of the nucleus family will be 277 million. Is that a good deal or what? I think this is a very brilliant package and affordable for members who can really partake of it. So how does it work? Principal member, base cover, for instance, if they chose tier 4, which covers up to 30 million, you would see that we are looking at 30 million for the group life cover. Then for the Critical illness CI is 15 million, and then PTD is 6 million shillings. The spouse, you would see basically it is 15 million. If this was 30 million, then there's 7.5 for the critical illness, and then PTD at 3 million. So basically, the spouse gets half of the principal's main cover. And how does it work? We are saying we are also accepting additional spouses, because in African setup, we are still living a polygamous society. So we are not discriminating any community, and we respect every community. As long as you pay for the additional spouses and the additional children and the parents, it's also very fine. For the parents, we can say that there is an option. We can cover them on a funeral basis only, or we can decide to onboard them as standalone principal members, where they will pay the premium of the principal member, how they would have come in if they came in alone. Okay. Ecosystem flywheel, and we are saying, first of all, we are culturally aligned. So affordable tiered premiums, capture structured informal groups, and SACCOs previously ignored. These were previously ignored by rigid traditional practices. So phase one, we are saying, okay, let's affordable tiered premiums capture the structured informal structure groups, and SACCOs previously ignored by rigid traditional policies. Phase two, we look at dignified crisis support. Rapid, and we are putting ourselves to account here, rapid 24-hour payout for funerals and hospital cash for principals deliver tangible proof of concept to the community during critical moments. So testers, when it takes you about 24 hours, if it ever happens and you're not paid up in that period, as long as you provide the information I shared there, what we need, then you can put us to account to assure you why we didn't pay that in that period of time. But more often time, it's because you have not provided us the information, like the supporting documents. You saw we needed the police letters, for instance, those who were knocked in accident. We need the postmortem reports, but there are those death notification forms that come early, or medical hospital bills. Things like that are also sufficient to trigger the claim and be paid immediately. Phase three, formalized trust. The community shifts reliance from informal, highly vulnerable cash pooling to a secured Britam formal ecosystem. And then phase four, scale premium volumes. Trust drives retention and members acquisition within the SACCO, expands the group size, and drives the scale premium volumes for Britam. So here we're saying, tugamba one, that bamemba bebana banga bafunye benefit zino bajja kweyongera okujjumbira groups zino ebibiina bino, kubanga ebiseera ebisinga bazivaamu nga balaba chairman atufudde kike tayagala kubanga wa buloni to their fellow members, naye bamemba tebalina kujoininga just loans, balina kujoininga bamanyi all benefits endala nga kino zosobola okufuna mu group setting only. So Community Shield is practical, inclusive, and scalable market leader. We are inclusive, support real community-based structures, including extended and polygamous families. We are affordable, starts at accessible premium volumes of 72,000 or so for individuals and 93,400 for family people, and up to 6 tiers, defined tiers. We can actually go up to 1 billion for the members who can afford. Reliable, flexible. It allows for modular expansion of the family cover based on actual needs and budgets. Then it's relevant, designed entirely around actual Ugandan community realities, not Western constraints. Structured, simple enough for the informal market, yet disciplined enough for rigorous underwriting and reinsurance. So start with your own full protection, then extend support to your family, preserving the dignity and supporting continuity. Group advantage checklist. Why this scheme works for you and your members. It's built for community strength, leverages affordable group rates, inaccessible to individuals, no medical examinations required, standard 3 months waiting period, ultra fast claims processing, 24 hours for funeral support, 48 to 72 hours for the death benefit. And then wide inclusion bracket. From entry age is 17 up to 75 years. Kanchiddemu wano mu Luganda, eno scheme bayambi tutya itsoka eyamba community zaffe obubondo bwaffe eyamba ebibiina byaffe okuba nga bigumu okubanga rate zetucharginga ekibiina zanjawulo zetucharginga ba individual omuntu kinoomu then togedde nti no tewaliwo kutwala mu ddwaliro kusaba kye bayita medical examinations kubanga waliwo standard emyezi 3 egy'okulinda nga tetunna kusasula byetugambye wano memba alina okuba nga abaddeko at least emyezi 3 nga tetunna kumusasula ebintu nga critical illness obulwadde obuvune disabilities wadde memba y'okufa tusobola omukavaring at least alina okuba nga abaddeko at least omwezi gumu n'okudda waggulu naye nga generally myezi 3 for all other conditions and then togedde nti no tutwala ssaawa 24 okusasula okufiirwa then ennaku 3 naku 2 ku 3 okubanga tusasula kino kye bayita death benefit yeyo ya group life kubanga waliwo ebirala byetukavaringa kuba twagambye obulamu okufa just si kokka okubeerawo waliwo ebibeerawo n'obanga omaze okufa waliwo ebyetaagisibwa waliwo responsibility ezisigalawo so olina okuba ezo sente zijja kuyambako okubanga musigazzaawo obulamu sustainability ye wealth management and then tukkiriza abantu okuva mu myaka 17 paka myaka 75 kyo kikulu nnyo value proposition financial stability we are looking at master policy dignity and speed so families receive structured financial support quickly master policy holder agreement binding the association and the insurer affordable protection you can even pay monthly contributions but then the active welfare community to oversee those operations. Unity and trust, members feel secure knowing their association provides reliable welfare protection. Centralized member database. I told you, you'll be sending this shortly. And then financial stability, a scheduled annual policy review to ensure alignment with association needs. So every year we shall be doing a review process to Kulabantino. Were you members well served in the previous time or not? Should we increase the premiums or not? Things like that. Then member enrollment. Stage 1 is first of all, it's going to we have to get information from the members using these links. I can have the link and also the QR code. You can scan it and just onboard your members. On our end, we shall receive them. Then once you have gotten all of them, the association chairperson or the admins are the ones we reach out to collect the premium on our behalf, because they're the ones who are going to send it to us. And remember, it's only when premium has been paid, all the paperwork has been sent, for us to issue the policy documents. Then insurance pooling, then of course, Britam assumes the risk and collected pool guarantees payouts to ensure long-term sustainability. So our next steps, we know that association onboarding will usually take about 1 week. Member registration will also take on another week, a second one. Then the third week, policy activation would begin. Then coverage begins usually in the 4th week, and everything has been double-checked with the information you provided earlier. So we are securing the future of your association welfare, stand strong and protect what really matters. So lastly, why Britam? Britam guarantees you with every step of the way. They have a footprint in about all these countries you're seeing, about 8 countries right now. And what do? We insure, we invest, we do pensions and do health insurance. I'll speak about health insurance offering one of these days, but it's also a very good discussion. They talked about the medical insurance for the seniors at the very beginning of this discussion. You had Mr. Sajabi speak about it. That's another topic I discuss under another package for the seniors who are now covered from the age of 65 up to 8 years. Those are relatively still new developments in Uganda. Before, we were not covering them. It's only about 4 years ago that we began covering the medical insurance people for the senior citizens. Now, questions or any other things? So when life happens, your community shouldn't struggle. So stand strong, protect what really matters. So schedule your association structures, welfare, review with a Britam consultant today. So onboarding, just scan this QR code for all your members. And I can send you the link as well whenever members are interested for them to collect that information. Once you submit it, we shall automatically get it at the back end of the office So we want to reduce as much paperwork as possible. So you'll help us do that for the association members. With that, I thank you for your attention to this discussion that has been quite engaging. So till then, till next time, I remain Emmanuel Safali, bringing you the Promise Insurance Show. And may God bless you and all your families and association members. Thank you for your attention. God bless.